He said, I think I got promoted because I smiled a lot. The whole room laughed, but he was dead serious. And years later, the performance reviews proved what the promotion never prepared him for. The system confused likability with leadership and then disappeared when it got hard, and then he ended up paying the price. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Sheena Speaks, your friend, your coach, your wing girl. Welcome to the After 3 podcast, where we drop 3 and you make moves. Listen, a few weeks ago, I dropped a question on LinkedIn. Can an ineffective leader assess the effectiveness of other leaders? And boy, oh boy, did it hit a nerve. We got the church on that one. People were commenting. They were sending me private messages. They even stopped talking to me and started talking to each other. One of my favorite comments came from a former colleague. His name is Todd, who Todd is known for always. He's going to call out what's missing, and it's not always going to be the popular opinion. But his perspective was, yeah, but it's not always the leader. Now, he said it way more eloquently than I just did, but that was his bottom line. What he didn't know was that at that moment, I was working on the Systems at Sabotage series to call out that very thing. So I was so excited that Todd called that out. So today, we are talking about systems that sabotage the setup. So let's call out the truth real quick. Like Todd said, not every leadership failure is about ego, fear, or a lack of skill. Sometimes it's about the system that handed them the title and withheld the tools. We keep diagnosing people when what's really failing, or what's failing sometimes, is the infrastructure. We have systems that demand results or don't match high expectations with high support. Then we act surprised when leaders burn out, but we never ask that question. What were the conditions that created the collapse in the first place? It's not always a people problem. Sometimes it's an unintended systemic setup, and it's time to get intentional with this thing. So there are many ways a system can breed sabotage, but I'll just focus on 3 for today. These are some sabotage patterns that I see again and again across teams, across industries. These things I have seen everywhere I have been. So here's the first sabotage that we all know very well. Promoted, but not prepared. You were excellent in your role, so they gave you a new one, and they threw some more people in there. And being good at the job isn't the same as being ready to lead it or to lead the people. Except now there's no map, there's no training, there's no modeling. And when it gets hard, you blame yourself. But the truth is, you've been set up. Here's a second sabotage. Layoffs with no rebalancing. The people are gone, but their work isn't. There's no redistribution. There's no restructuring. It's just quiet overload. So when people leave and the work stays, the system starts bleeding silently. And then suddenly you're doing 2 or 3 jobs. And the message is, we're all in this together. And while that is true, we're all burning out together. This neglect can often be disguised as teamwork and even resilience. Here's a third sabotage. No feedback culture. This is when you're leading with no input, no reflection, and no support. Leaders who don't get effective feedback and coaching, they just don't get better. Sometimes the system doesn't make space for feedback until something breaks. And then you're going to get all the feedback in the world. And I'm not even going to talk about how feedback gets quieter as you rise. But let me pause here for a second, because if you're listening to this and you feel like you're failing as a leader, maybe you're not failing as a leader. Maybe you're leading inside a system that is causing sabotage. Maybe you've been crowned but not coached. Maybe you've been promoted but not prepared. Maybe you're being expected to hold complexity with no clarity, but still you show up, you try, you lead. That's not failure. You're trying to survive inside a broken structure. So let me give you 3 shifts to move from sabotage to sustainability for our systems. Shift number 1. Prepare before promoting. Prep leaders before they hit the seat. Stop handing out crowns and disappearing. Stop throwing people in the fire or throwing them in the water expecting them to swim. How about you prep them before you crown them? How about that? And I'll even take prep them when you crown them. I truly believe that leaders who are promoted should receive a 3-month onboarding plan to guide expectations and to really see where those developmental needs are. Shift number 2, rebalance after the layoff. Those who are left behind are burdened with extra work and still expected to be a high performer or a strong performer, but there's a threshold to that. You're going to squeeze them and bleed them dry. So when the org changes, the workflow must shift too. Restructure, reprioritize, reset expectations, redistribute authority. And I tell my leaders all the time, if everything is number 1, nothing is number 1. Look at what's in front of you and game plan what we can do right now with what we have and still meet the objective. Shift number 3, turn silence into feedback that fosters real growth. Normalize feedback, the good, the bad, and the ugly. People need time to reflect. Embed feedback into your organizational patterns. Don't just wait for a breakdown to start a conversation. Feedback should feel like fuel, not fire. So if we want better leadership, we need to build better systems. If it hit, let it sit. Next episode, you can't heal inside the system that harmed you. We will talk about the weight of staying too long, the cost of trying to fix what's breaking you, and the moment you realize that loyalty without boundaries becomes bondage. You don't want to miss that one. It's your girl, Sheena Speaks, and this is the leadership conversation that needed to happen, brought to you by Trifecta Strategies. Follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and visit us at trifecta3.com. I'll see you next time.